copper on the bottom, but you sort of like have this wave. Then sometimes you go right and you peak, and you're like everything, and you're oversaturated, and there's no place to go. You're overexposed, and then like you have a 2 or 3 year career. But and this is what I'm leading up to, is AC/DC, which really does. I mean, it's timeless. It's ageless. You know, they've been doing it forever, regardless of what trends come and go. It's AC/DC. I think they're the most imitated band. I think you can go by how many bands have sounded or tried to sound like AC/DC, and some of them very successfully. The Cult, which is another great band. AC/DC is so great that an imitator of AC/DC can still have a hit. That's how great the original is. That's like I have a copy machine that is so good that I will copy the Mona Lisa, give you back the original, then sell the copy for a lot of money. That's how good the original is. First time I saw AC/DC, the first time I heard them, my friend gave, I saw AC/DC. Power Rage was the first album I had, right? And I got it from my friend because I didn't, you didn't even know. My friend would give me these things because he was older. And he, and I'd be like, getting like, I think I love you, and I'm thinking I'm hip, I'm going to the Buddha display that has like yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy, right? And I'm like, ooh, this good, And all of a sudden my friend's like, get that shit off, man. And I'm listening to all Power Rage and Let There Be Rock and all those things. And, but when I love them, they grew. Because with, I thought that, God, I'm going to, but Highway to Hell, that album was like, it was an amazing record. It really was an amazing record. And then Bond dies. And then you're like, oh boy, what happens? Back in Black comes out, and then you realize there's a magic with those brothers. You realize that there's this Malcolm Angus magic because they didn't miss a beat. And it's because some bands could have been derailed, especially with the singer.
But Brian stepped into some
Brian stepped, and Brian did a great job. And then I loved but my favorite AC/DC song is For Those About to Rock. I just think that intro is the most dramatic rock and roll intro in the world. Poison, before Poison goes on, and we've been doing this now since 1988, Highway to Hell is the song we put on right before we go on. To the fact when the audience hears Highway to Hell, they know that's the last song before, so you hear them go, you hear the whole audience go because they go, okay, Highway to Hell song, that means Brett's finished doing his makeup, they're coming on now. Because, it's like, okay, the 4 prima donnas are ready because Highway to Hell's on. Oh, thank you, finally! And that, that's, so it's always been a staple, and they never go out of fashion. AC/DC has never, it's always been cool to like AC/DC. You listen to Angus, and you play air guitar. Now, one other thing is, see, I'm realizing how much I rip off, for lack of a better word, because you watch Angus on stage and you're like, there's no other guitar player, Angus with his moves and with the way he was influenced me every bit as much as Michael Schenker did when it was two equal but different things. Michael would just sit there and dazzle you, but Angus, you wanted to be Angus. You didn't say, gee, Michael plays good. You wanted to be Angus because Angus was so fucking cool. And and any guitar player that can show up the singer, I love because I just need guitarist rights. Guitarist privilege. So every time I'd see Angus Young and he'd be on the cover of the album, I'd be like, yeah, Angus, yeah.
Who inspired you to pick up a guitar?
Well, probably my uncle. My uncle was a banjo player, and they were goofy looking. So I said, then my dad bought me a guitar, and I said, I want to play like Uncle Bobby, but the banjo is like a hick thing, I'm thinking of Deliverance. I'm like, I want to play the banjo, but I don't want any company. No, I don't want no sodomy. I want to play the whole side of me. I'll have a banjo, but hold the side of me, please. So I started playing the guitar, and my first influence, believe it or not, one of my favorite guitar players was Terry Kath from Chicago, because again, 250624 was on the radio, and that was like one of the first times I heard blitzkrieg guitar soloing. I mean, just nuts, like Larry Carlton type guitar playing 10 years before. I mean, he's it's all the real shit. I mean, and you know he was great because he blew his brains out. He was too great for the time. Usually these people, you almost have to, you love them because you're like, it's not an act. You know, it's like, he's a real cocky fuck. No, he blew his brains. He's not cocky. The man's in pain. I mean, only I would be so fucking prima donna-ly to kill myself as an act. Hey, I'm dead. I told you I was real. This is my note. Now that I'm dead, I told you I was the real thing. And then by virtue of me writing a note saying it, nullifies it. So.
Did you have the same influences like the Beatles, the Stones? I mean, with all those.
Yeah,
the Beatles, when they first appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, was that it for you?
I remember where I was, things like that. I always loved great songs. But the thing is that I never really knew. My influence was pop radio. My mom and dad listened to music, but they weren't really music aficionados. So like, while other friends had big, huge stereo collections, I had basically, Mantovani, things like that. So I was basically a child of whatever was on ABC. WABC was the local, the radio station. So it was like, I would hear Come On Baby Light My Fire, things like that on the radio when they were grooving, things like that. So I immediately,
Wait, was that Jose Feliciano's version of it?
No. I think it was the Rascals. But I love Jose too.
Yeah.
But now, which one do you like better? Do you like that on Broadway better by Jose Feliciano or the George Benson one?
I like George Benson.
George Benson's great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's great.
What about Santana? Any influence there?
Yes, of course. But again, that was I don't know. The thing is, I always thought like the Journey thing, because they were like entwined. I liked Neil Sean because he was short. And I was like, yeah, Neil. You notice I have a lot of issues. So like, it's like, I'm like, yeah, Neil, grow it. And so Neil would be short, he'd have his hair like this much higher. He'd walk into a room, he's 7 feet. And I'd be like, I'm gonna learn that from Neil, so I tease it up and you go, okay, I'm 5'7" now. Mm-hmm. And Neil was great. And so I like at the Santana Woodstock thing, I remember that young drummer stealing the show. I mean, I wasn't there at Woodstock, but when you watch the movie, the little kid, I don't even know his name, but the kid playing the drums when Santana's playing, he's insane. Traditional grip, doesn't matter. I mean, and he's just, and you can see Carlos is like, you keep playing like that, you're walking home, man. It's like with James Brown and Bootsy, Listen, I'm the star here, get out of here, Which I can always feel for because I am a guitar player. Okay.
Are you alternating back and forth between Poison and Samantha 7 right now?
Yes, very articulately, with the grace of a cougar, with the grace of a cheetah. I actually walk this thin line of, I'll do a little this, I do a little that. But my love right now is Samantha 7 because it's really my soul. I've always had an emphasis on writing songs. If you listen to a lot of the songs, I've been lucky enough to have a forum to write many hit songs, many top 10 songs, and that's a great feeling to hear your song on the radio. Because again, my whole world is based on radio. I really didn't know too much about alternative, except that now alternative sounds like pop radio 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. Alternative is pop now. Blink 182, that's a pop band. I mean, I love that band. I listen to Lit, that's pop. I love that stuff. I was an awful drug addict. I went through every cliche. You think you know better. You think you'd say, well, gee, a lot of people died or really hurt themselves doing drugs. How do you fall into the same thing? Well, I did. It's embarrassing. I spent a lot of time just really being miserable, being a junkie, and it was the type of thing that it's expected to do, kind of, in a way.
Too much too soon?
Too much too soon, and it was just basically, you're doing wrong, but you gotta do it anyway, because it's crazy, right?
Yellow broadside, great yard.
It's great, yeah. Honey, suck my dick. I know I can't get a hard on, but I got blow. So you just keep sucking, I give you more blow, and I still hit it with a turtle dick. After 4 years of that, it's like, honey, it's like, I have to stick my thumb up my ass to take a piss. That was how bad it would. I'd be like constantly be like, it would be like in traction. I couldn't find my dick. I'd be like, oh my God, it finally happened, it's gone. And my dick's like, no, it's being traumatized, It's like, no, his little Elvis is like traumatized. So after a couple of years of that, you're like, man, this sucks. This is, so once I got out of that, I had 5 years of being sober and I started to run. And then I really got back in touch with how much I love songwriting. And I wanted to start writing some songs, and I wasn't sure if I was going to sing or not. And then I said, well, why not? Let me try singing, because you know I happen to have issues with singers, all singers. And so I said, let me try to sing. I know I don't have a great voice, but I think my emotion is there, and I think I mean what I say. And I started writing a few songs, and then I met Chris. We seriously wanted to put a band together, and I remember telling him, listen, don't rush, because this is brand new to me, and I don't know how fast we're gonna be able to get this going, you know. But boy, as soon as we hooked up, I was like, wow, let's get going. And we got Francis very soon after that, and there was a magic there because they both had that same angst I had. I have a little chip on my shoulder, like, you don't understand, I know I was good at one thing, but there's more to me than just what you might know. So, and I think that's kind of irritating for people. So sometimes I'm cutting off my nose to spite my face, you know. But the album, the Samantha 7 album, I think is a fantastic current sounding pop album. In a day and age where pop is like such a, I'm going to use this one, pop is a 4-letter word. P-O-P-P. You know, but in the days where pop is like, oh my God, that's dangerous. No, popular is good, I think. I love hit songs. I would hum Bridge Over Troubled Water. I wouldn't be able to hum In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. I mean, so I never understood this, well, if it's commercial, it's no good, and if you can't get it only on import, then it's good. I never subscribed to that. Yes, there were some things that were great on import. I mean, I had, like, you know, a lot of Robin Trower stuff was great that you couldn't get. But I mean, just for the sake of it being rare, like that band Budgie or Garoo Garoo, boy, the hits, oh boy, hits, you know. But, you know, so I mean, so I would like say to myself, gee, I like the Raspberries. I loved Thin Lizzy. They had some hit songs and they would rock like anything. So I really wanted to explore that as a songwriter with not having to collaborate. So I was able to just rewrite and write, and then finally we had a tape, and we got a deal really quick.
This has been kind of a catharsis for you.
Yeah, well, I'm sober, and I would never sang. I don't have any memories of me singing when I was fucked up. So when I sing now, it's very fresh, because I don't have that awful trauma. When I was playing guitar, I always had memories of me, I can't go on stage, I need to do another bump, and then if I was too high, I wouldn't want to go back. In between songs, I'd be like, I'm scared to go back out on stage. Like, Caesar, get back out there, I don't want to go back out. Can I just finish the show from in here? You know? I mean, that's humiliating, it's embarrassing, because it's like, you know, now being sober, you do the show. That hour and a half on stage is the high point of the day. You wait every day to get on that stage. In the condition I was, that was the low point of the day. So that'll just let you know how skewed it was. So being sober now, the singing is fresh. I never sang. There's no baggage and there's no guilt when I'm singing.
Do you find a peaceful place for Poison now?
Oh yes, without a doubt. Yeah, you know this. This is pretty good because I can creatively give myself an enema via the Samantha 7 and really just take a nice creative dump, a flush, if you will.
Thank you.
And I don't, yeah.
Thank you.
Basically a high colonic, like a vodka pectate, you know? And then once that's done, you can, you know, then I don't have to worry about, wait a minute, the collaboration thing, it's not really what I want to be doing, they're not really getting it. Now I can collaborate with Poison in a much healthier way. Before, I was a Nazi. Brett, don't sing it like that. That's not the way to do it. No. This is how you got to sing it. You got to sing it this way. That's not the Ricky. You know, they drive me nuts. Now, granted,
Slow pace.
the albums that I was like that with are the ones that sold many, many records. The albums that I wasn't like that with didn't sell. So there was a reason for it, but it wasn't worth the constant barrage because it takes a lot out of you when there's tension, because everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants to have a great record. I was lucky. I know music. Really, I'm just lucky to understand what music goes. Bobby's a great businessman. In other words, I would never try to match wits with him what he is strong at. So it would be like, you know, let me do what I'm really good at, and then everyone else can do what they're really good at. So with the Samantha 7 stuff now, I don't have that pressure to try to make everything exactly the way I want it, because the way I want it doesn't mean it's necessarily right. And I respect that when it's a collaboration, it has to be a collaboration.
10 years from now, what do you see yourself?
I honestly, I see myself still singing and playing. I see myself in clubs. If I'm not huge, I see myself. It's been so liberating. Again, I've had that luck of being famous and falling off. I fell, big time. I mean, I was America's sweetheart in '92, and then by '93, there was a venom. I mean, a venom to whatever we represented, and that's a lesson that it hurts, but it's a necessary lesson. It's a necessary evil because music has to keep changing. You know, we were bloated. That sound was getting bloated. It was. Kurt Cobain came out, and I have to admit, it's fucking great. Nirvana came out, and I was the first one to say, fuck, Jesus Christ, the fuck, man. You need a guitar player, you know? I'm like ready to jump ship. I'm like, I got flannel. Are you kidding? No, dude, I'm in. You don't think I'm too crazy about painting my face now? Come on, we're making burgers here, you know? So I was like, you know, very, very impressed with that. And I also knew that for the sake of progress, you know, sometimes you have to die so the others can live. And, but then going through that 90s period brought also everyone down to earth, made everyone else better people. Honestly, because you start to believe that you really are incredible. You know, Poison didn't work, you know, Poison, you know, I joined Poison in '85 and '86. We made the record. So there wasn't that long of a starving, you know, bonding and all for one, one for all. It was just, we started, we got together, and it seemed like we were famous overnight. So it came easy. A lot of things came easy. So we never really had to know how to work out the tough times. So when the tough times did present themselves, we did what normal baby and prima donnas and crybabies would do. Run away, everyone bail. You know, so you know, that's, and I'm simplifying it, and I'm, you know, I'm trying to be as self-effacing as I can, so people.
But the mood in the music industry is more upbeat now.
Oh, without a doubt.
You see it with the boy bands and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and everything, Ricky Martin.
Ricky, and
But all great stuff. I mean,
it is
for
great
its own thing.
And I was in the car today, you know, there's a reason why they sell. When people say there's a problem with the music business, there's no, you know, you look at Billboard and you see those triangles and you see 11 next to it, 12 next to it, 12 million copies. There's no problem with the music business. Maybe there's a problem with your record because your record isn't selling 12 million, but there's not a problem with the music business. The music business seems to be alive and well, you know? So, and I realize that. So, I mean, you know, I'm trying very hard to do what I do. I love pop music. I hear NSYNC. I can hear that. I can go, wow, that's a great hook. Now, when I play a song like that, I'll always have a Les Paul and a Marshall. That's bred in me. So, you know, but you'd be surprised how I can take an NSYNC song right now and do it through a Marshall and be like, that could be Cheap Trick. Because the melody is the melody. I mean, the thing that we love is the melody. Honestly, that is the thing that you go, oh my God, I remember kissing Veronica Hill in 6th grade when You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet came on. I remember BTO and You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. I remember singing it, she started to giggle, and I was kissing her. And it's like, wow, you go down a time machine because it's like, that's that melody. It's that the thing you connect with. And where am I going with this? I don't know. The first tour I did with Poison last year, I was sober, and I hadn't been on the road sober since I could remember. So I was a little nervous because, let's face it, you know, Satan's Den is on the tour bus or in the dress. I mean, come on. What do you mean you don't want me to play with my pussy? Oh no, honey. No, that doesn't do nothing for me, you know? You want to snort coke off my ass? Hey, Cecil, come here. Snort some coke off my ass. You know, I like you guys because you're really classy, you know? So it's like, I knew that I would be up against some temptations, you know? And I feel like William Dafoe in the Last Temptation of Christ, you know? And I'm like, all right. So I was very, very sick, you know? I kept myself very, very